You pull up to the driveway, the porch lights are glowing, and everything clicks. You finally found the house that checks all the boxes. Your first instinct, naturally, is to check the listing price. But relying on that single number is dangerous. The asking price only represents a fraction of what you'll actually pay every month. To figure out what you can realistically afford, you have to look at PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. This first block represents a standard monthly mortgage payment, just principal and interest, for a $400,000 home. It looks manageable, but watch what happens when we stack local property taxes and insurance on top. The total required cash flow is pushed straight into the red zone. Of all those components, property taxes are the most volatile wildcard. They shift drastically depending on exactly where that house sits. First-time buyers often miss this because they focus entirely on the maximum loan amount their bank pre-approved them for. If you stretch your budget to hit that absolute maximum without factoring in the specific local tax rate, you leave yourself highly vulnerable to a major payment shock. We need to decode the hidden math of local property taxes so you can retain total control over your monthly cash flow. Protecting your long-term budget starts when you ignore the listing price and master your total monthly obligation. Let's look at geography. When you cross a municipal border into a new town, the financial landscape changes immediately. Two homes can have the exact same square footage, the same layout, and the same curb appeal. But if they sit a few miles apart in different towns, their tax obligations can look completely different. Those taxes pay for local infrastructure. They fund premium school districts, rapid emergency response, and heavy road maintenance like snowplowing. Step one town over and you might find a lower tax rate, but fewer centralized municipal amenities. This comparison table shows exactly how that trade-off works. We have two identical homes, Home A in Middleboro and Home B just over the line in Lakeville. Same list price, identical square footage. But look closely at the local tax millage rate row. The percentage for Home A is significantly higher. When that percentage translates into hard dollars, it adds a massive $300 a month to the required payment for the exact same physical house. Choosing the high-tax town means you gain access to premium municipal services, but you deliberately sacrifice day-to-day liquidity to get them. Crossing the town line lowers your monthly obligation. It keeps your budget comfortable and effectively increases your baseline purchasing power. Optimizing for affordability requires making deliberate choices about micro-locations. It is the strongest defense you have against financial strain. Let's look at how the transition from buyer to owner actually unfolds. As the months pass, your financial obligations begin to evolve. Your lender will likely require an escrow account, which groups your property taxes and homeowner's insurance together. Escrow creates short-term predictability. It divides that massive annual tax bill by 12 and bakes it seamlessly into your monthly mortgage payment. Warning tone. But escrow obscures a major hidden risk. A home's underlying assessed value is a moving target that changes after a sale. Look at this timeline graph. Throughout your first year of homeownership, your monthly payment remains perfectly flat and steady. You feel a sense of security. Then, at month 13, the payment abruptly spikes upward to a new, much higher permanent plateau. Here is the mechanic driving that spike. A home that enjoyed a low tax assessment for years is suddenly reassessed by the town based on the new, higher purchase price you just paid. This immediately triggers an unexpected escrow shortage. The lender did not collect enough money from you during year one to pay this new, heavier tax bill. To cover that massive shortage, your lender will permanently raise your monthly mortgage payment going into year two. Relying on the convenience of escrow without forecasting post-purchase reassessments virtually guarantees a devastating payment shock. To avoid these traps, you need to tailor your home search parameters around your specific budget constraints and the services you actually need. This quadrant chart provides a framework. It maps out your reliance on municipal services along the bottom against your tolerance for tax burden and reassessment risk on the side. If you are a budget-conscious optimizer looking to maximize your purchasing power, you fall right here. If you are maxing out your pre-approval amount, you must restrict your search strictly to this lower tax quadrant. You cannot afford a year two reassessment surprise. Conversely, if you are a service-driven buyer who prioritizes top-tier schools and community infrastructure, you sit up here. When you target this high tax zone, you must deliberately buy a home priced well below your maximum pre-approval. You need that gap to build a cash buffer for the inevitable tax hike. Regardless of which quadrant you land in, the rule is mandatory. Never make an offer without first requesting and analyzing the historical tax tables for that specific property. Bringing a real estate professional into the process early allows you to run these exact financial models before making a commitment. Expert guidance, like working with me, Lou Corcoran, turns unpredictable tax variables into clear, manageable data points. Total affordability is strictly dictated by the tax rate. Understanding that math gives you the control you need to secure your long-term comfort.